Hello everyone, welcome back to the Tabletop and Hobby Stop. Once again, my arm is still injured, so I thought I'd get a quick one out talking about something that a lot of people, they've been coming up to me and talking about wanting to get into miniature games lately, but not wanting to have the commitment of having to paint a million minis. And then with my arm down, I had another conversation about painting minis, and then the time and cost and all of that stuff. A lot of people seem to be hesitant to get into the hobby because of the time sink and investment of one, buying the miniatures, and two, painting them. So we're going to keep with this format that I did last week for the Core Space box, but we're going to talk about different ways that you can get a quick fix to your miniature problem. All right, let's get into it. The solution that I'm talking about that'll save you time painting your minis, collecting them, spending all of that money is actually going to be standees. Now, you can always print your own off and cut them out, which I think is a fantastic idea because there's a lot of gorgeous art out there. I'm part of the Space Station Zero game, part of that Facebook group, and I forget the name of the artist, but he actually released a bunch of Ant-stronauts, I believe he called them Ant-stronauts, online, and I loved them, which actually was the reason I was inspired to pick up these Wizkids Acrylic standees. These Wizkids Acrylic standees, there's a ton of them, but I picked up the three Icewind Dale sets because I thought it would work best with Frostgrave, which is a game that I love. However, it does have a lot of minion requirements. If you are looking to get into Frostgrave and you are not excited about the idea of having to pick up an additional 50 miniatures to cover all of the bad guys that go along with that, I think that this is an excellent solution. Let's get into how these actually look on the tabletop. Right here you see, I'm going to pan the camera over. You see I actually have a little setup going on, almost a diorama. I have my Frostgrave table here, and I set up. We have a big old dragon in the background here that's kind of out of frame. What does Frostgrave require? It requires a bunch of different bad guys, kind of kobolds, stuff like that, that you can fight, as well as larger enemies. We have an undead frost giant. We have a mammoth. We have, going even further over, we have a white leopard. And then we have a couple of snow foxes, a wolf. We have some kobolds. And we have a big yeti, or what could work as your white gorilla in Frostgrave. On top of that, we have we actually have a dog mini, and we have a mage. So if you guys are really looking, maybe not for your main party, because I think that main party could still always be, and also almost forgot the owl bear. The main party, I think we always like to have as minis. I think that we really like having those super showy, big, beautiful minis to represent our main party, and I think that that's great. However, when you buy one of these packs, I got them from my local store for $15 each, you actually get a decent amount of standees. Now, is this going to solve all your problems? No, you may need to buy a few packs. Frostgrave especially seems to have a lot of undead, so I didn't check. They probably have an undead pack for these guys, but maybe you have to buy a couple of these. However, for $15, I'll show you, we get two sheets of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 miniatures on these two sheets, along with the bases, for $15. So that comes out to around $1 a mini, which is a fantastic deal, especially considering you don't have to paint them. Now, how do these guys look on the tabletop? Well, I think you can see for yourself here. The reason I have this set up is because I think they actually look pretty good, and the camera probably doesn't even capture the whole picture here. But if we take this guy, for example, the mammoth, this side actually has a little bit of a texture to it, almost in the way that they printed it. Feels a little bit textured. Then on the other side we have that acrylic, and the way the acrylic sits, it actually looks pretty decent from the tabletop. Now, am I going to throw away all of my minis and switch to these guys? No, absolutely not. I love painting minis. I already have all my minis. I already have everything I need for the most part for most games. However, getting a new friend into the hobby, getting them excited, is fantastic until you run into that roadblock of telling them, oh yeah, this game only requires 22 minis. To someone who's never painted a single miniature in their life, that sounds like a very, very intimidating number. So you can say, hey, how about you work on painting your hero mini, your warband, and then we'll pick you up a pack of these bad guys, or because I have them, I can even lend these out. I'm way more comfortable lending these guys out than a box of my minis. They get to try the game out. They get to take all of the pressure off of painting a whole bunch of minis for a game that they might not even end up liking, and their table actually gets to look pretty good. In Frostgrave, you need a lot of bad guys. Generally speaking, the better the variety, the better your games are going to feel in the long run. If you don't have a lot of variety, it's going to just get very samey very quick. So they pick up a pack of these, or you lend them to them, they get on the table, they start feeling good about it, they're excited, and then they can go out and say, hey, you know what, that was so awesome, I'm going to pick up the second pack, so I got a couple of more guys. Now, what I said earlier, as far as finding the art and cutting it out, I think that would be just as fine of a project. If you are really, really on a budget and you don't want to spend like any money on minis, I think for $5 you could probably print up a whole undead horde. If you just take a little bit of time doing it on the printer, print it up, organize them all out on the sheet, cut them out, smack them on maybe some poster board, and you're good to go. But if you're looking for a right out of the box quick fix that actually looks pretty darn decent, I like this giant skeleton guy. I'm just going to show you guys. He looks pretty good. As far as a bad guy goes to face, you turn him around, he's even double-sided where that's his back. These guys have different print for the front and back. So there's his face, there's his behind. This is an awesome solution. Alright, now let's wrap up with a real quick cons list. We're going to keep this video nice and short. I think the cons, if you look at this guy, I did break his base along the sides there. These acrylic standees are a little brittle. I wasn't even forcing it too hard. I had just popped it and it cracked, and then I stuck super gluing it back together. Not a huge deal for me, but I imagine if you're constantly taking these guys in and out, that might become a problem. Number two, as nice as these guys do look, they are still 2D. For me, that's a con. For other people, it may not be. However, we knew this. It was standees. What we're doing is trading off the overall look of our board for the function of having all of those minis. We know that going into it. However, with these Wizkids ones, I will say that they look actually pretty nice. The table presence of having this beastly looking guy right here up in my minis' faces is actually acceptable. It's not, you're not marching around, not that there's anything wrong with this for my meeple players out here, but you're not marching around with meeples or cubes or anything as bad guys. You actually still get to have that feel. You get to have that feel of having a big bad up in your face. All right, my third and final con to this is a simple, kind of basic one. This is a product meant for D&D. So with that in mind, they don't pack it for wargaming. You're not going to get an undead horde to fight against. You're not going to get a full wolf pack. You're going to get 1 or 2 wolves. So that might force your hand if you want to stay true to the minis in the book and keep all of your people the same. That may force your hand into having to buy multiple packs of the same thing. And if you're getting this pack and you want a few of these barbarians here, I don't need 3 or 4 of these frost giants. They'd basically just sit around and I'd probably end up having to give them to my friends. Now these small guys, we have 3 of these. I'd only need to buy 2 packs to have a reasonable 6, and then I could use the extras as thugs. But these big guys, if I need to buy multiple packs, they're kind of special enough to where you're wasting a large amount of the sheet for what amounts to a little bit of gain in the diversity of your figures. However, it's still going to end up being cheaper in the long run than having to go out and buy 6 wolves and 6 of these, 6 of that, 6 of that. So, small cons, really big bonuses, in my opinion, especially for you newer gamers out there who really want to fill up your table but don't want to spend all the money or the time painting. I hope you guys enjoyed this quick look at the Wizkids Acrylic Miniatures. If you have any questions about them, post them down below, but I'd love to hear what you use instead of all that gray plastic, or maybe not even the standees. If you have any other suggestions to people down, go ahead and place them down in the comments below. Feel free to like and subscribe if you think I earned it, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.